Figure 4 Radio.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Figure 4 Radio.
Hello and welcome to a Figure 4 Radio podcast for iTunes, for Stitcher, and for our website. It's figure4radio.weebly.com. My name is the Killer Kyle Brand. I'm joined once again by Luke Omack.
Hello.
And sitting by him, still on his phone, trying to find a picture about a Thank Wizard. Check out iTunes and Stitcher for all our podcasts. It's Ollie Spring.
Evening all.
How are you? How
good.
are you guys?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
not bad.
I'm still reeling after that fucking the final deletion match.
What, two weeks ago?
Yeah, I can't get over how fucking funny it was. I'm just loving it.
It's got to be match of the year for entertainment value.
Match of the decade.
No, I wouldn't go as far as decade.
If you are listening to this podcast right now and you still haven't seen the deletion match, what the fuck are you doing listening to Figure 4 Radio podcast? Seriously, it's a very good point. Anyway, this week, we're running low on topics, so we're going to talk about championship belts.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
And we picked up the NWA title. No, go on, championship belts, then, because every promotion has to have it. There's always seemed to be the top one, seems to be the bottom one. Can you remember back in, I think it was the Attitude Era, there was so many title belts, and kind of what's happened
So
to
you
it.
had what? The heavyweight, the Intercontinental, the European, the light heavyweight, the hardcore, the women's, and tag. Yeah, that does seem a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I think there's about...
But what about when they took over WCW and they had the WWE, the WCW Tag Team Champions, the WWE Tag Team Champions?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You had that. You had the...
During the invasion angle, there was two of everything.
Does that do like? Well, I guess let's get straight into it. Did that kind of mean the belts were more or less meaningful?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. End of a podcast. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And good night.
It was because I think again you got the WWE at the minute. It's got the before the draft and the whole brand split. You got the WWE heavyweight title.
Yep.
You got the US and you got the Intercontinental.
Yep.
I still think that's too many.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But once again, in a way, going back to the Hall of Fame
Podcast from last week. Yep.
I think the US and the Intercontinental Championship, they both have an awful lot of history in what they represent. Mm-hmm. Intercontinental was kind of, I guess, the United States Championship is the WCW version of the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah. Yes.
And I guess they don't really want to kill either of them off because they've got so much history and they mean an awful lot.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I honestly do.
I think I've mentioned this before, but my favourite belt is the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because I think, especially nowadays, if you look at someone like Roman Reigns or whatever, they're called the face of the company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, oh, we're going to push you to be the face of the company, and we're going to give you the belt as well. Whereas the Intercontinental Championship for me has always been more of like a technical belt. Yeah. It's almost like this person can wrestle. And this is what they wrestle
the matches
for.
are often more entertaining. It's kind of like I've seen some Premier League football matches and they bored me. Yeah. And then you go and watch some like non-league stuff and it's hilariously good. Like it's brilliantly entertaining. Yeah. Like so sometimes the heavyweight and the big dogs in the yard aren't the most entertaining.
I mean, I think they use it as like a stepping stone. I think you go, Intercontinental, then heavyweight.
But you get a taste to see what it's like to be a champion, because regardless of it just being, I mean, some people say it's just a prop. You still have to carry yourself as a different way when you walk out with that belt.
When you say some people say it's a prop, you say it's a prop all the time.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
I mean, it is for some, and it's also it's a prop that can be used to elevate people if used right. Some people don't need it. Some people don't need belts to be elevated. They can do it themselves. Other people could only be elevated by a belt, I think.
Ric Flair?
Dean Ambrose.
Yes. Dean Ambrose is one. To me, I need to be very careful with how I choose these words, because I know I could offend a lot of people. I'm not so big on Dean Ambrose. I don't think he's anything special.
Before WrestleMania, I thought, do you know what? Yeah, he's really good. And then it was essentially a squash match with him and Lesnar.
Lesnar buried him, and they had a horrible feud with Jericho.
Yeah, and I've really gone off him.
I still like him.
I think
still one of the reasons why
he needs to become more unhinged.
I think if they're going
to portray him as this lunatic, he needs to be one.
I hate the double arm DDT as his finisher.
Why?
I don't know. It just doesn't strike
I love
me
a
as
good DDT as a finisher, though.
I love it for the sheer fact that it's not. It could be held, done, bang, like Jake used to do.
I'm going to go
Stone Cold Stunner.
I'm going to get super technical. When Cactus Jack used to do it, I'm pretty sure he would clasp his hands together. So it's basically like a pedigree, but under the arm instead of the legs.
Yeah.
If you clasp someone's arms together, it's almost like you're driving them face first into the mat. They have literally no way of stopping it. What he tends to do, he tends to just rest his arms on their kind of shoulder blades and then drops it.
But I think
it doesn't look as impressive to me.
It probably doesn't look as impressive, but it's more of a safety thing.
I know,
true. If you think
but
of the pedigree...
I preferred his old school... he had different Dirty Deeds before they decided to change the name when EC3 was getting so over with his exact copy.
Yeah, because it was the 1%er, wasn't it? Yeah.
I preferred that as me because in fact, Dean Ambrose was the first guy to use that. I saw that before EC3, and I was like, EC3 stolen it. But then Ambrose dropped it. I was like, okay, so I guess EC3. But I thought that was a much better. It's new and it looks.
It was
different.
a much better finisher. Yeah.
Kind of like the curb stomp thing with Rollins.
Yes,
I missed that as a move, but apparently that was banned. He's not allowed to do that for sake. No, because I think Vince saw
but they
it
changed the pedigree for the same reasons. Triple H used to hold people's arms till they were face palmed into the floor.
Yeah.
But then after a while, he had to start letting go so they could protect themselves.
That's it.
But anyway, gone off on a tangent.
Back to belts. I think there are definitely some people that it is a prop because at the end of the day, fights are predetermined. Mm-hmm. We know who's going to win, so therefore
we don't, but they do.
Yeah, okay. But so really, you're not really winning the belt; you're winning the prop. But as I say, you got to think there's a handful of times people have won belts, and it's been booked to perfection. And when they get that big win, it just there's an overwhelming sense of emotion for them getting that prop.
But then
it doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time.
Is it a prop, or is it a case? Okay. Or is it a case of once, Luke, well done, you've got the Figure 4 Radio Intercontinental Championship belt.
Yes, I do.
You basically, what the company's telling you is you're really doing something really good.
Oh, true.
It's like putting faith in someone, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think.
I guess
24 hours of faith
for the top belt. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Like when you say the face of the company, you are the one that goes to all the press conferences. If you are the world heavyweight champion, you will have to do the morning show, the Tonight Show, the late show, this show, chat shows, interviews, radio, newspapers. You have to do it all because you are the guy in the spotlight. Whereas the guy that lost just gets to go home and chill.
A 30-day suspension is how you get repaid for that.
Seriously.
But yeah, so it is a prop, but like you say, it is also the company saying we've got our faith in you to go and do all this media tour and not be shit, basically.
And what you were going on earlier is, as well as the heavyweight championship belt is Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan in this very slow punch of death, whereas when you got the smaller belts, that is the ones I'm more watching. Like you said earlier, the reason why I watched Nitro back in the day was because of the cruiserweights.
Take TNA, for example. TNA got over, not because of their heavyweight championship. They got over on the X Division. That was how they saw. In fact, let me just double check the dates. The X Division belt was introduced in 2002. I know technically TNA had the NWA championship, but the actual TNA heavyweight championship wasn't introduced until 2007.
I kind of hated the fact that they had the NWA Heavyweight Championship.
But then it was an offshoot of the NWA, and I think Jeff Jarrett there was more legitimacy by being associated with the NWA. He jumped on their bandwagon basically and built himself up off the back of the NWA.
Hang on a second, because I might be wrong in saying this, but wasn't the NWA Championship then the WCW Championship? Wasn't that happened, and then that went to WWE and became their heavyweight championship? I can't talk about the WCW thing, but I think the NWA is almost like it kind of kept the spirit of the territories alive. So the NWA as an organization don't actually, they choose themselves a champion, and that champion will then defend it in places. Because the NWA was the one that Shane Douglas threw down in ECW. Yes.
That's when kind of that's when the NWA were like, okay, we're done with this promotion now. And I think, so it came through TNA. I'm pretty sure it's still around now. So I guess if we look up the history of the NWA Championship, it's going to go back hundreds and thousands of years to the Roman times.
To Greco-Roman style.
Yeah. In fact, actually, before we'll get stuck in, but there is one belt I really need to discuss with you guys.
Come on.
Actually, we'll get into it in a minute later on, though, because I think I posted it to you ages ago. But
is it the Finders Keepers belt?
No, but that needs to happen. But yeah, so I think, like you say, it puts a spotlight on you when you're a champion. And in fact, to tell you what, Kai, good friends of the show, Josh and Gaz, the Bone Shakers.
Yes.
We were very close with those guys. We were good friends with them. When they won their first ever tag team championship for a very small promotion that ran 2 towns in the home counties once a month, we knew the belt was a prop, but we can testify when they were given the belts in the ring, they were over the fucking moon.
Well, yeah, because I was there when both of them just started training in wrestling, so I saw where they started from to them being recognised by the granted, small management team going, hang on, you two are actually getting over. And to be fair, from where they were to where they became, they were a pretty good tag team, to be honest. They had everything. They had the big guy and the more agile guy, and it was fantastic. And they were having great matches with back then the Diamond Club. Yeah. To again talented individuals. Maybe a bit green, but they were going places. And if that company was still going, there would be multiple tag team champions by now, and even going on maybe to get that heavyweight title. But yeah, it's to see that emotion. This is what I like about WrestleMania, is that you always tend to get that WrestleMania moment, and that to those guys back then in a sports hall is their WrestleMania moment, and it's when you get that part. Yeah, fantastic. It's like when you get a promotion at work, and actually,
it kind of is in a way.
Yeah, but I hate promotions at work. Doesn't matter. You get more money, great, but it's like, I've got more responsibility.
Well, that's it, yeah. But then at the end of the day, isn't that what everybody? I mean, you hear it all the time in promotion. Oh, if you don't want to be the world heavyweight champion, you're in the wrong business. Like, that's what everybody aspires to be. They want to be considered the best in the world.
Yeah, true.
Ultimately. So I was going to say, is there any kind of like championship wins that stand out for you guys? Like the ones that really got you? Like when that happened, when that fake wrestler won that fake prop, you were bawling your eyes out or jumping up and down in your chair. Like there's got to be a few. I know straight away there's at least 2 that everyone will go, when that happened, I was bawling my eyes out.
I wouldn't know if I was bawling my eyes out, but but I probably was. But have a guess, stab in the dark, you go for it. WCW.
Sting.
Yes. Versus
Ric Flair.
No.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, we go. Starrcade 97. It was that massive feud, and many podcasts we talked about this, but Hulk Hogan had that title for God knows how long. It was an NWO title, whatever it was. Whatever he made it into, and no one could get it off him because of the NWO, and there was that Sting, and he finally got that chance. It was like, dude, this is going to happen. The match was, again, I've said this many times on many podcasts, was a shambles. But it's when they actually had the whole roster lifting Sting with that belt over the shoulders, like the Giants or the Big Show's shoulders. It was a moment, I think, not just for Sting, for the roster itself, for the fans themselves, and just I think WCW did it right in the way they did it, but unfortunately Hulk Hogan and Sting didn't in the actual match, along with Bret Hart.
How's about Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Going to say still props, but like what that meant for the industry, for the little guys in WWE, for anybody, any underdog. Sorry. What that meant was huge, right? And things like AJ Styles' first win in TNA when he first captured the heavyweight championship, that was another big deal. Like that was huge.
Exactly.
I think if you're going to talk about underdogs winning, then you've got to go back to WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that was a pretty big. But I think that was so obviously good. That was
it was obvious.
There was no shred of doubt. Another one actually, Austin Aries beating Bobby Roode
Or was that his first cash in?
Yeah, when option C was first put in. I love how the dog in the background is just going absolutely apeshit.
But that toy, this happens every time we do a podcast in my house. The dog
She
just goes
finds
mental.
something to
The
anyway.
toy she's got is this pink. Used to be a sun, but watch out for your heads because that will fly past you at one point.
Thanks for the heads
anyway.
up. Yeah, I guess. Nice. But yeah, so there's. I think to say it is a prop. If it's done right. But then, look, you and the Intercontinental Championship. A few years ago, it was treated like a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it was.
I
think
the Intercontinental Champions would keep losing to people in non-title
24-hour reigns and stuff like that.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, no, the 24-hour reign thing really annoys me. I think it's one of those things of, especially with the likes of Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man holding it. There's been some really famous names that have had that belt. And for me, like, I don't want to say it's more prestigious than the heavyweight, but it's got
some names behind it.
Yeah, it's got such a big history.
When Daniel Bryan won it at WrestleMania 31, and there was that whole collection of people coming up to thank him afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you get the feeling that was kind of their way of saying, let's make this more legitimate?
Yeah, I think it was. It was that thing of I mean, if it wasn't for his injury, I was hoping he was going to have a really nice run with it.
Yeah.
Like, my biggest thing, like you said, is it's just been tossed around. It's been back and forth. Whereas if someone has a run with it, like you look at when CM Punk had the championship for 434 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
Like, it came... Like, he was the heavyweight champion at that point.
Yeah.
There, the legitimacy behind it. He's had it for over a year. And if someone did that with the IC title, I think that's what it needs.
Yeah.
It just needs a nice run.
John Cena with the US title, the
I love
Open
that.
Challenge.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That made it right. It's like EY, who said he would defend and fight that championship, the heavyweight championship in TNA every single week, and by God, he did it, and it actually meant something. This is our champion.
They're fighting champions, and the ones that will put it on the line and defend
that's why
it.
You get too many heel champions. It's just like, come on,
that's it. That's it. Speaking of fighting champions, the belt I was gonna bring up with you guys is very off topic, and I'm not sure how many people have ever heard of this. A promotion called DDT Pro Wrestling.
Right.
Have the Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship.
Right.
I hope I sent the link to you guys. I'm not sure if I did or not.
Don't ring a bell.
Right, the title is defended anywhere against anyone, even during non-title matches or tag team matches under 24/7 rules. Really, the only thing is an official DDT referee has to be present so the title can be won and lost.
Right.
How long ago was that, by any chance?
Pardon?
How long ago was...
This is recent. This is up until now. So the very first win, it was... let's have a look. It's actually changed since the last time I read this as well. It was first introduced in 2000. The year 2000.
So they've looked at the hardcore title from WWE.
Pretty much. But there's a lot of... I think I came across this by seeing a video... Razor Ramon Scott Hall had held the belt.
Okay.
And Colt Cabana wrote the words, "I quit" or "I give up" on a bit of paper. He grabbed the DDT referee, went up to Scott Hall in the locker room afterwards and said, hey Scott, my eyes are gone. What does that say? Scott Hall goes, "I give up." Colt turns to the ref and goes, is that legit? The referee goes, "Yep." And Scott Hall had to give him the belt, and Scott Hall was like, "Oh damn it! Well, nice play, brother. I'll see you down the road." And that was it. And then Colt Cabana is now the champion. But from as of April 2016, there have been over 1,070 title changes for the belt.
God,
which have been won by numerous male and female wrestlers and non-wrestlers, including children, animals, and inanimate objects. So animals that have held this belt was a monkey. A miniature Dachshund dog and a cat. Notably, I think at 3 separate occasions, a ladder has held the belt.
How?
It fell on the champion, on the guy that had the belt in a match, and the referee counted the pin. Legit. This is from the notes from the page. Honestly, if you've got time, go and find this fucking belt on Wikipedia and just read the title history. It is absolutely bonkers. There's people. I think at one time it changed hands like 600 times in a night, something crazy like that.
Stupid.
I'm trying to see when.
That's like 600. Okay, so hang on. That's what. I'm not even going to try and do the maths on that, but 600 times in a night.
I might have got that wrong.
Seconds.
I might have got that
ridiculous.
wrong. But a lot of times, I think there was one point where a guy kept just pinning people that were asleep to win it. I'm trying to find the first time that anything weird happened. So it's like pins in 6-man tag matches count. So basically, you've got to be on your guard literally 24/7. In 2002, some characters from a TV show for children. There was 2 characters won, which well, there you go. The president of a student association won. I'm guessing they were at that venue.
Yeah.
So the first ladder to one was in 2003. It fell on Sakai during a match against Mikami. The referee counted the fall, although somebody then beat the ladder the same day. Which was, I mean, it couldn't really.
What the fuck?
I know. There was times where a painting has held the belt.
Oh my God.
A poster has held the belt. An invisible wrestler once held the belt. And check. wait. Check this.
So,
It was. Wait, let me find it. So Misuteru, an invisible wrestler. Opponents would sell the moves of a wrestler who isn't there, and the title is held by nothing and no one, but the wrestlers and referee act as if they can see and pin the invisible wrestler. The guy that beat him won the title from the invisible wrestler by using a ray gun and infrared visor to shoot the invisible wrestler, winning the belt on a KO decision.
right.
Have you guys seen?
Have
you guys seen the match in Japan with the inflatable wrestler?
Oh, the inflatable. No, I have seen a match with the invisible wrestler. It's just like, what the fuck?
Former champion invisible wrestler.
Yeah.
Former champion. But it's the same promotion where the inflatable wrestler had. In fact, 2 inflatable wrestlers have held that belt as well. It is comedy gold as far as, like, honestly, take some time out tomorrow and find the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship belt and read the entire list, because it's fucking bonkers.
I think, like, what we were just speaking about before that, about legitimacy of belts.
I was a ladder's got recognition.
Yeah.
Three ladders have held that belt. Separate ladders, I guess.
So, for me,
it's entertainment. It's an entertainment belt, let's put it that way.
That is a hardcore
nothing behind that at all. Yeah, it is. There's nothing behind that.
Well, it's like it wasn't a hardcore championship. There was a match in like a kids' play area in America at one point. Like, crazy shit. Crazy shit. Anyway, I'm glad I got that, because I really wanted to get that on this, because that, as I say, that Wikipedia page is brilliant. Maybe we'll put a link up in the comments for this podcast. Maybe I'll do it, and you won't get a choice in the matter.
My favourite championship belt is from Lucha Underground. Absolutely love this belt. It's called the Golden Aztec Medallion.
Oh yeah, let's hear about this. Let's hear what you got.
What happens is Darius Grado, wherever, goes, right, Ollie, Luke. He doesn't sound like this.
See,
whatever. You will be in this match for a chance to win a Aztec Golden Globe Medallion, whatever it's called.
Bling bling.
So there's like 7 of them, and throughout the series, it'll go, you two will face for this medallion.
Yeah. So 7 medallions.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they win the medallion. Then what they'll have is is it elimination? Yes. I think it's an elimination. I can't quite remember. I think it's an elimination match where you've got 7 people in an elimination match. Whoever wins will then get the Aztec Gold Medallion, whereas all the medallions are put into the belt and make up an entire belt. I just think
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
This is the thing, right? With Lucha, I really, really fucking want to watch it.
It's brilliant.
It sounds so intriguing, but I have I'm not a pirate. I don't like watching things streamed online. I want pristine quality. I don't want streaming issues. I don't want buffering. I just want to watch it. So I think I said to you in a message, like, I would love for them to release it on DVD so I could buy season 1.
They have
like, that would be immense, because I would be straight on that.
I just think you're really fussy.
Well, I prefer. I like
Netflix, and
I like it. Oh yeah, but that's quality stuff. That's when do you watch Netflix and it's like it's shitty quality? You know, you don't have to.
You've never used the Wi-Fi in my house.
Maybe no, but I pay for good Wi-Fi. But when you're watching the WWE Network, when you're watching Netflix, when you're watching stuff like that, whereas if you watch the video on YouTube, you could get shit quality. It depends who's edited it together. It depends if it's been shot from. You see some shitty pirate videos. I just don't like shit quality. I like to enjoy quality wrestling, and therefore I want to I want to get the legitimate thing. I don't want to stream it on a site where someone's videotaped it onto DVD and then split it into YouTube and re-downloaded it into a GIF. And I just don't want all that shit. I want it to be quality.
No, that's fair enough.
I don't like buffering and skipping.
Basically, he just wants to watch Seth Rollins instead of John Cena. Okay.
They're both on the same product.
The Golden Aztec Medallion. I'm just sorry about the wrestling. The Golden Aztec Medallion holder's belt is a little bit like the X Division in terms of you can cash it in.
Okay.
In a chance to face for the heavyweight title.
Is it any time or?
Not so much any time you want. But, you got to say, do you want to? Yes, I'm going to cash this in. And they have a little fight.
Oh, that's cool.
Basically, I won't go into names because, you'll learn them.
Can the belt still be won and lost, though?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. They still defend it. I think Chavo had it at one point and God knows what and lost it.
So it's almost like you hold on to it until you see an opportunity to cash it in.
Yes.
But then you've also still got to defend it.
But it's not in a case of cash it in like Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
They actually have it. And so Phoenix, very much, he's won the heavyweight title. He's won the medallion, cashed it in to face Mil Muertes. And, and basically won it. And it was a big moment for him. But so, cool. They kind of have that aspect of it as well. I just absolutely love it just for the idea of, okay, you cashed it in, so now it's vacant. So now all those medallions get taken out of the belt, and you have to start the whole process again. I just love that whole process. That
sounds really
belt.
cool. I like
that's really good.
Yeah. I was going to ask. It's not necessarily a belt, but what do we think of something like Money in the Bank or Feast of Fired? Like,
I think the
Feast of Fired, I absolutely love.
Yes. But you're not winning a belt, but it's still something. It's still a prop that.
But it's like winning the lottery or getting made redundant. It's so, and you always like get up. I can win the jackpot, like scratch card. I can win £4 million. You end up winning 50 quid. Like you get a shot at the X Division. Oh, okay, whatever. But again, it's like Money in the Bank. Whereas we all know what that is. Let's go and get it.
Yeah,
it is like the whole. Okay, which one's he gone? And they drag it out to the next one. It's like, what's he got? Yeah. And I fucking loved it when Chavo got the third one.
I did. I think it does get a bit predictable though. Like, James Storm has a briefcase. I wonder which one that's going to be. Every time tag team fucking titles.
See, that annoys me. They need to change it up a little bit. That's why with wrestling I like to stay away from the internet because you're always like, oh, well, they're leaving.
There you go. Yeah.
And they got that briefcase somewhere. They get fired. They're not getting it. So,
do we think that I guess more for WWE, the Money in the Bank briefcase is almost like you're not saying someone you're the face of the company, but you're potentially the next. Like they're putting enough faith in you, so you're not the top guy, but you're on your way.
If anything goes stale or our main guy gets injured, at least we got you to fall back on.
Yeah, you're the fall guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
you're the stand-in.
Someone's going dull. We need shit. Just cash it in, mate.
Because there's been some pretty good cash-ins in the past. I don't think anything will ever get better than Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania.
What do you think of Dean Ambrose in 2016?
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted that it's over. That it's already over.
I know that we kind of shout on him a little bit earlier, but I actually think for his character, that was one of the best things they could have done for him.
Yeah, he's not.
There's no way he carries that around with him all year.
Fucking just go for it.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I love the fact that because they always drag it out, and I think that's good because it keeps you guessing. Whereas, and I think I said it in I wrote a blog post on the Money in the Bank, and I said, the events of this pay-per-view, can affect the lay of the land for up to the next 12 months. And actually,
12 minutes later.
Yeah, that's it. Like less than 12 hours, it's done. And now we don't have any, will he, won't he cash in storylines for at least another year, which I'm kind of sad about because it's a really good little fun thing, I think.
I always like it when they try and cash it in and the ref doesn't accept it or whatever.
Well, no, it's just they take too time and then they stall and then all of a sudden, oh no, wait, I'll change my mind and run away. Yeah. But another one actually, Rob Van Dam cashing in, and I think he was the first person to openly tell the guy where he's cashing it in, and he cashed in at ECW One Night Stand 2006.
That was against Cena, wasn't it?
And that was a fucking hell of an event. Have you guys seen One Night Stand 2006?
Yeah, I can't quite remember it. Yeah.
So it was basically a WWE event held in an ECW arena with ECW fans who hate the WWE.
Yeah, that was where Bradshaw punched the Blue Meanie, right?
Yes,
like legitimately smacked him in the face. Yeah. Going back to what you said there, though, is part of me really likes Money in the Bank, but then part of me is like, I really want someone to do it slightly differently. So I'd love someone to go
Like Feast or Fired.
no.
I was then as the actual holder.
Yeah, so
yeah.
like be like, okay, so I've got this contract and I'm gonna choose a date, so SummerSlam, and I'm gonna put myself in the main event of SummerSlam and actually just like do it that way.
Well, that's what Rob Van Dam did.
Yeah,
He
instead of just
said,
running in and cashing it in like that, just actually go, right, I'm going to put myself in the main event of SummerSlam.
But that's the
against
babyface
whoever
way
the
of cashing
champion
in,
is.
I think, in a way. That's the babyface way. Whereas, how many heel Money in the Bank holders have we had? Like all of them apart from Cena when he won it. Did Cena win it once actually? Ambrose, but then
He only kept it for 20 minutes.
yeah.
But he still had it.
But generally, like Dolph Ziggler was a heel.
Generally, do get the heels, don't you?
Yeah, Rollins was the heel. I'm trying to think like. And do we miss 2 Money in the Banks? The red and the blue. Is that going? Do we reckon that'll come back?
I hope not.
But I guess it depends how the brand split's going to go. So well, and actually, when this is released, we might already know. I guess.
We wouldn't know. But
no,
recording.
I think it's a good concept because it's another prop for people to anything that's because I remember back in the day with WWE, it was just like briefcases full of money or something like that.
What belts would you like to see come back, if any?
I think now that they're doing the Cruiserweight
Tournament or something.
the Cruiserweight tournament.
Classic, yeah.
Cruiserweight Classic, they've got to bring back a Cruiserweight or a light heavyweight, whatever the WWE
Something
want
with
to
a
call
set
it.
weight limit.
Yeah, they're going to have to bring that back. And if it brings, and I know a lot of people said, oh, it's a rubbish match, or oh, there was no selling. But if it's more matches like Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, then I'm all for it.
Oh yeah,
Variety, isn't it?
Yeah.
I understand why people were bitch on that, but I absolutely loved it. It kept me entertained. I was like,
Yeah.
that's
I
pretty
think,
good
I
stuff.
mean, it was. I don't know. That's not. Well, we could talk about this all night, but we won't.
Well, so he's actually doing well for himself with the belts up front. Is Will Ospreay?
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah, I tell you, what one belt I would like to see is the big golden belt.
I was an actual design.
Yeah, the actual
Yeah.
design. I hated when they got rid of it. I was sort of like, what? But mainly because it was basically what I saw as a child.
Yeah.
And it's like they had it.
The
Great,
the
they
TNA
bought the
one,
company.
the original TNA one was very similar, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. But
To be
it's,
fair, the TNA one now is still fairly similar.
I do quite like the TNA one.
Yeah,
Still fairly similar.
I guess.
But
You know which one I really like the look of? NXT Championship. That looks fucking awesome. I love the look
thought
of
they
that.
tried-
I do like the big X in the middle.
Yeah.
I think that's really
Yeah.
nice.
I just think they're trying too hard.
I'd really like them to actually ditch. This is going to sound really bad. Ditch the big W sign they have at the minute.
The Wonder Woman one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman one. Ditch that and bring back
Batman.
bring back Batman. Yeah, why not?
A Batman belt.
A Batman
Sorry,
belt.
Go on.
No, and bring back the circular one that had the world on it that Stone Cold held during the Attitude Era.
no, I like that one.
Bring that one back. That was one of my favourites.
I think mine will always be something like. I mean, I just want to see the X Division kind of back in prominence, but they've been TNA always sell themselves on. Oh, we're going to put the X Division back on the map, blah blah. And they never do.
Well, to be fair, I saw an advert for an X Division fight.
Yeah.
From TNA, and it had two people in it that I recognised.
Who is that?
One of them was DJ Z.
Yep, I fucking love that guy. I think he's
Really?
so. I think what he can bring, his moveset is so like he's just undervalued. I
I'm
think.
actually with
stand
Ollie
him.
on this one, sorry.
Yeah,
I can't stand him. Really hate him.
I love it. I'm a massive fan of his moveset.
I can't remember who the other one was now. But yeah,
Someone else, yeah.
it was someone that I knew, but like the other four in the match, I was like, I have no idea who they
I'm
are.
going to guess that was at an X Division Ultimate X match.
Yeah,
So that would have been Mike Bennett, Mandrews, Andrew Everett, Trevor Lee, Eddie Edwards, Spud.
Is that the one they
and-
just had before the
Yeah, is that not? Was that?
no, it wasn't. No,
Oh,
it's
okay,
one like
okay.
a one in the future type thing.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but, yeah.
Well, Ultimate X is coming up actually, but and what do we think of the whole X Division cashing it in at Ultimate X idea? You hold one
Well, that
belt.
was done
you
about
hold
2 weeks ago.
You hold one belt. You hold the
It's
secondary
like
belt
what I
almost.
was on about
Do
the-
you want to trade it in and fight the bigger dog?
Yeah, it's kind of.
I
I
think
like
that's
that.
brilliant,
It's the
yeah.
underdogs. That's what I was on about earlier with Lucha Underground.
I don't like the way they sell it though, as it being an almost guaranteed
Option
title
C.
shot. Yeah, I hate it whenever the commentary goes, "Oh, it gives you an almost guaranteed title win."
Well, this year was an option D or something like that.
was there?
Something like that. I might just.
I don't know. Well, I haven't seen it. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but I don't, because the whole point is that it's meant to be a massive decision. Like, well, I'm this second. I'm the big fish in the small pond. Do I want to try and see if I can survive in the big pond? And I hated because it made sense for Austin Aries when he first did it, because he was beating the heavyweights as the X Division champion.
I swear there was an option D. Wasn't there something like
Not that I'm aware of yet.
Bobby Lashley versus Eddie Edwards at X Division, and if.
Well, you're about to ruin everything for me right now, so carry on. Yeah,
No, it was in the deletion match. If Eddie Edwards lost, Bobby Lashley gets the title of the X Division title.
Oh, is
I swear
it?
that's something to do with it.
Oh, I haven't got to that bit yet.
But that was
'cause-
on the deletion that we watched 2 weeks ago.
Well, I clearly haven't watched that part of that
You
show
haven't watched
yet,
the whole
have
fucking
I?
episode.
Well, no, I haven't, because I was holding it off. But anyway, there's I love the idea of it being like that, because it's a big decision.
What I hate in our X Division, I like it because it's like the Intercontinental. It's the lower one. It's no weight class on it, which is brilliant. But what I absolutely hate is the King of the Mountain title.
The
I-
toy belt.
I see
Fucking
no
continent.
point in that whatsoever. The
It's-
first time I
that is
saw
more of a prop than
the first time I saw a
yeah.
King of the Mountain match, I actually sat there and thought, "What the fuck is this?"
But then
But
this
then
is like
you
the
go-
fourth iteration of that belt.
King of the Mountain 1-on-1. It's like, well, it's not King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
Dicks.
Yeah,
What the fuck are you doing?
because that started off as a Legends belt, which had a fun place in storyline. It was, this is the belt to give the superstars, the legends, when TNA was full of them, the Booker T's and the Kevin Nashes and the Stings and the Kurt Angles. Then it was turned into the world's champion, global with Eric Young, and that kind of made sense because he changed it for himself, as he was like the leader of the global, the World Elite. Then it turned into the TV title, and the idea was that it was meant to be defended every week on TV, which it did for about 5 or 6 weeks, and they got bored and gave up on that. And now it's been reincarnated as a King of the Mountain title. And I feel like if you're going to have that title, it should be defended in King of the Mountain match every time. But you're then taking a speciality match, and all of a sudden you're seeing it every few weeks or few months, and it loses it. Yeah, it's like having like having a Money in the Bank champion rather than a Money in the Bank briefcase that you get once a year.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. It's
Fair
just
enough.
like,
Yeah.
if you have the King of the Mountain match, do it for the X Division title.
Yeah.
Do it for the championship. Do it for the tag team title. Do it
Yeah.
for trios, whatever you have. And it's having that sort of belt just makes a mockery of I think championship belts. It's just.
Do you guys think
stupid.
WWE should have a trios division?
Yes, I think it works in Lucha Underground. It was done in
as well
W.
as tag or a separate tag?
No, I think you'd have to scrap the tag. Like,
Really?
two on.
What?
I don't
There's
think
not.
they'd do
There
that,
aren't.
yeah.
There aren't enough tag teams,
3-man tags.
three-man tags
They could
to
build
do
them
so.
up, I guess.
They
Yeah, they'd
certainly
have
have
to,
done.
but they'd have to use the.
Well, remember the time that they were building up, like you had the Whites, you had the Social Outcasts, they're having loads of these four-man stables. They can easily get the amount of people they have in NXT, having Raw, having SmackDown. They've got enough people.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
especially they're bringing people over with the cruiserweights. Why doesn't Raw have tag teams? SmackDown have trios. Why not do
That
something like
could
that?
do.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think it
I
works.
guess it
in Lucha.
depends. Maybe it depends where New Day. But then I guess once again, as I say, we're discussing things that may have already happened when this gets released. We might already know.
Oh, yeah, time of recording. I was
Yeah.
just seeing the deletion match. So that
That's
was
it. Yeah, like 2 hours ago.
2 weeks ago.
The thing I was going to say is, what do you guys think of like personalized belts? So when like someone wins in WWE, they change the side
I like
plates.
those little side plates. I think that's
I
brilliant.
like
Although,
I like the fact they changed the side
I think
plate.
they should play it up more.
But
Because
what
unless
do you
you're-
think? Like, because Stone
Broken
Cold,
Scott. I had that belt. In the
yeah,
replica.
Stone Cold
Wow.
had the Broken Skull one. I think The Rock had a Brahma Bull one.
Have you seen Jeff Hardy's, World Heavyweight one in
purple,
TNA? That
yeah.
was weird as fuck.
Yeah, like
It looked weird when Mr. Anderson won it and was carrying Jeff Hardy's face around on a belt.
yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like I really like the side plates idea. I think
they
that's
should.
brilliant.
I think unless you watch closely and try and really focus on it, you miss half of it, which I think is a shame.
That's what I liked in the heavyweight titles. They had the nameplate.
The nameplate. Wasn't there one time where they spoiled it and they changed the nameplate at the wrong point or something? And
I don't know.
I think someone came out with a nameplate that had someone else's name on it.
Edge versus Batista. And
Yeah,
it comes out and it says Batista. on
Yeah,
it. Like,
even though
he's going to lose
it. Didn't that actually happen though?
I think it's something like
that
that.
could be the exact.
Oh shit! We fucked this
I
one
think
up.
it's something like that. Yeah.
That's a shame, really, isn't it?
Or just do a Hogan and get a spray can, and
could have done, couldn't they?
put your name on it. Yeah.
And just like Edge and just subtly put the. I don't know, but yeah, championship belts. Are they good? Are they bad?
They're
good.
They're definitely good. And like I said,
we went to a WrestleForce show when there was no championship belt matches on it at all, and it was kind of like, oh, why is everyone fighting?
yeah, it does seem to give like I don't know. It's like a
lower to mid card. It's not. You kind of not. You don't really give a shit about them when they're like, well, there's nothing really. You guys.
But then I suppose it's a thing. If you look at it now, so you've got the heavyweight division, like that we have in WWE, and then you've got like what everyone essentially calls the mid card division, which is like where the IC title is, and then you've got even lower than that, like which essentially is what the US title, in my opinion, should be. That's how I would look at it.
So I'll put the IC and the US around about the same.
Was he?
Exactly.
Excuse me.
So
yeah.
does your body.
Yeah,
your body
I know,
agrees
right?
with me.
I know. That's how I would personally do it.
Right.
And it's almost kind of like Ollie said, you're that big fish in that little pond, and it's almost like a stepping stone. Mm-hmm. So I think they are needed in order to build someone's career, essentially, or to let them know, like, oh, you're kind of in charge of, like, the mid-card, or you're in charge of the lower card, or, like, just to have a kind of, like, a placement, so you know kind of where you are within the company.
Last question. Who is your greatest champion for you personally?
Oh, that's a.
kick in the teeth.
which area as well? Like I think
Any championship.
Who is your best? Who is your champion that you just?
I think for what I'm always going to go back to TNA because
Go for TNA.
I think my favorite. Okay, I'm going to try and break it down because I've got my lists as well. I think my favorite TNA tag team champions, or my favorite reign was when the Motor City Machine Guns first won. Because they were always like billed as Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley. They were always the people that were billed as the best TNA tag team to have never won the tag team championships. And when they won it, I think they beat Beer Money. They beat Beer Money in a best of 5 series, I think. And oh my god, it was just amazing. It was the emotion was there, and like you could tell how much it meant to them as a team because they fucking deserved it. They really do. What TNA Heavyweight Championship? I guess as I say, when Kurt Angle's first reign, was a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
When Mick Foley beat Sting in a cage match, that was quite fun. I think did he crawl out of a hole in the cage? I
Don't
think.
remember.
You guys are just asking these like people that don't really. Yeah. AJ Styles' first win was always an emotional one because I think Sting could have gone for the win, and I think Sting kind of hopped off the apron and took a step back, and let AJ perform. I think it was a 450 splash.
Yeah.
And almost kind of like I could go and win this, but I'm going to let you have it, and that was like almost it was an obvious passing of the torch.
Yeah.
That was a very big moment, I guess, in the world of TNA. I mean, X Division as well was there's just so many.
What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, well, you asked me a very broad question. I'm going to give you
I gave you a broad question.
I'm going to give you a
who
fucking
was
broad
your champion, not champions.
broad answer. I don't know who my favorite would be. It's a very tricky question. I don't know. I would have to say maybe Motor City Machine Guns winning the tag titles was a very big one. Or
Pick one.
Rockstar Spud winning the X Division at Wembley when I was there. That was pretty sweet too. There's so many. There's too many.
I
to
think
pick.
mine's a joint thing.
Oh no, you got to have one, Luke. Jeez, we haven't got all night.
Yeah, but they're two people, not two pay-per-views.
Oh, okay, go on then.
2 spreadsheets.
Yeah. Either Stone Cold or The Rock.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either Stone Cold or The Rock. Just because I don't know, it's just they are to me if you say to me, I'll think of like the first champion you remember, it's either one of them two.
Mine would be Kurt Angle in that case.
But they're the two. Well, yeah, okay, but
No, that's not my champion. My champion would have to have been Bill Goldberg.
okay.
For the sheer how they did the build up the under.
But you don't want him in Hall of Fame.
No, I don't, because he doesn't do fucking Goldberg. But yeah, no, that's it. We saw this debut, like nothing, not even an entrance to this rising star, and he got the belt, and that was like, well, that was quite impressive. They did that spot on. The other one, just because he fucking deserved it. Sorry for my language. DDP. When he finally got that championship belt,
that's true.
He's been through the wars, been through everything, and he's finally been recognised. So those two would have to be my champion. Nothing to do with Sting.
Interesting. Interesting.
But yeah, that was my champion. Anyway.
What about when Sting won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Oh no, that never happened.
Exactly.
I just can't help but wind you up.
Isn't that quite embarrassing? Sorry, we'll cut this short. That Sting, for all he's done for the company in wrestling and all the titles he's won, Vince McMahon's won more WWE titles than he has. Anyway, what about that guy in WCW, David Arquette?
Fuck, they know.
It's a mockery of that championship belt.
Wow.
Anyway, what was your greatest champion? Who was your greatest champion? What's your favourite belt?
I've got one actually.
No, you got one, have you?
I've got another one actually. My favourite champion is the Figure 4 Radio Quiz champion, me. I think is my personal favourite.
I think it's Luke at the minute, because I beat you for the title, and then Luke beat me in the Mastermind quiz.
We need a rematch.
We do.
I demand my rematch.
Cashing in his rematch.
I'll just hit you in the face with a briefcase.
Why not check out those podcasts on our website? It's figure4radio.weebly.com. We have loads of wrestling quiz podcasts, especially from the guys over at Exposure. Anyway, check out all of our podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher. And why not check out some videos on YouTube? It's youtube.com/figure4radio. Anyway, thanks for joining me this evening. And of course, I'm joined with Luke O'Mac.
Hello. Hey.
Watch. That's
Bye.
The Mastermind, Ollie Spring.
Cheers, champ.
And of course, from me, it's the Killer Kyle Brand. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Lock it in.
This has been a Figure 4 Radio production. For more podcasts, go to our website www.figure4radio.weebly.com.